Will Alex Murdaugh take the stand to defend himself against double murder charges? That is what the defense is still mulling over tonight as they get closer to the conclusion of their case.
Now, the defense already has called Murdaugh's son, Buster, to the stand, but calling Alex Murdaugh opens him up to questioning from the state. Nick Neville is joining us from Colleton County Courthouse tonight with details on this development. Nick, we still don't know yet if he's going to be testifying.
That's right, Dondi and Judy. So we have some new information to pass along to you. Our Greg Adeline got the chance to catch up with defense attorney Dick Harpootlian in the last few minutes, asked him whether or not his client plans to testify. He said that he knows the answer to that question, but a final decision could come as early as tomorrow morning. Now, earlier today, defense attorney Jim Griffin asked presiding Judge Clifton Newman to limit the scope of the cross-examination should Alex Murdaugh take the stand. Griffin said he's concerned about potential questions regarding Murdaugh's alleged financial crimes, which Newman has previously ruled to admit as evidence in the murder trial. He specifically asked whether Murdaugh would be allowed to take the Fifth Amendment in these matters. Lead prosecutor Creighton Waters, in response, argued that if the defendant were to testify, the cross-examination would be, quote, wide open. Newman said he would not issue such an order. Take a listen to part of his response to Griffin earlier today.
For the court to issue some blanket order limiting the scope of cross-examination, that's unheard of to me.
We spoke with attorney Joe McCullough about this possibility in the last hour. He has filed a lawsuit against Alex Murdaugh in the boat crash case. He says that calling the defendant to the stand here would be a risky move for the defense, but he believes that Murdaugh does want to testify. Now, we want to get to Greg Adeline now. He has more on some of the defense witnesses that we heard from today. Greg.
Yeah, good evening to you, Nick. Several defense witnesses taking the stand. They came and went this afternoon testifying about the investigation into this case, seeking to cast doubt on some of the aspects of it, including a crime scene reconstruction expert who said that there were shortcomings in that investigation by way of a lack of fingerprints and also what he described as some subpar photos taken of footprints at the scene. So, earlier on today, though, however, Mark Ball was perhaps the most compelling witness because he's a former law partner of Alex Murdaugh and a close personal friend. He says that he showed up to Moselle at 10:50 on the night of the murders. He testified the scene was sloppy, unsecured, and said really anyone could come and go. He also said that it didn't appear that the house had been searched or secured, and he felt that there was lots of uncollected evidence, which he said made him mad. Now, he also said that Alec kept saying that night, on the night of the murders, quote, look at what they did that night, referring to the crime scene. So the defense then played a clip for him, and Ball said it sounded like Alex said they did him so bad in that now famous interview with SLED, June the 10th, 2021. But really, for as much as Ball may have helped the defense in some ways, casting doubt on the investigation, it was certainly a different story under cross-examination as Creighton Waters flipped that witness. Ball ended up offering damaging testimony to Alex Murdaugh's character in a way really few prosecution witnesses have been able to do thus far. Namely, he said he felt betrayed when he learned that Murdaugh had in fact stolen from the law firm and that he never believed Murdaugh's story about the roadside shooting a few months later. But perhaps most notably, he identified Alex Murdaugh's voice at the kennels at 8:44 on the night of the murders and then said that Murdaugh lied to him about it 3 times. So here's Ball saying that basically the character of Alex Murdaugh came into question, especially after that roadside shooting and after he learned that he had been lying about stealing money from his law firm. Take a listen.
Never met anybody that he couldn't talk to. He could talk to a fence post.
Talk to a fence post. I think you've said that people were his trade.
They were.
And he understood the emotion of the cases very well, did he not?
He did.
And he could be very convincing with people, as you've come to find out from all that you've uncovered. Is that correct?
Absolutely. He convinced us since 2006.
Effortlessly and easily lied to you for years, and you didn't know it.
Didn't know it and didn't catch it. In fact, it just the way he was doing it was very, very cunning.
And just to reiterate, Ball was a defense witness. The defense likely to call several more witnesses before they wrap up their case on Friday. And thus far, few of them have really been able to rebut perhaps the prosecution's most compelling evidence, and that is the kennel video. The big question, will Alex Murdaugh explain why he was at the kennels that night from the witness stand? A question that's still looming large in this case, and one that we may have answers to as soon as tomorrow. We're live in Walterboro. Greg Adeline, WIS News 10.